Welcome to Session 4 in Estate Planning Solutions for Families. We're glad to have you with us today. Hopefully you started doing some of your homework assignments and you've put together those two folders and started to build that information. In today's session, we're going to learn about the difference between attorneys versus lawyers, finding a great attorney, and what your attorney will need. So let's get started.
So before we get to fee structure, real quickly, the difference between an attorney and a lawyer. An attorney litigates in court. A lawyer doesn't. Not everybody in law is cut out to litigate in court. Others like it. There's more stuff that goes into it. Those are attorneys. A lawyer is a lawyer. But it's something to consider as you are choosing your estate attorney. You know, many big firms have an attorney that litigates cases for many lawyers in the office. If that's the case, that's not a problem, but you want to find out, is that attorney somebody that's winning cases? What's their record? Those kinds of things. If a lawyer says, well, they win all the time, you just can say, well, no, I need more detail than that. You might even want to take the steps to interview that litigating attorney as well. So let's talk about fee structures. Hourly or flat fee, and this is just talking about you've got an attorney now, so we're going to have them put everything you've got into legal form. Are they doing it on an hourly basis or a flat fee? For us, and the attorney we chose, she does a flat fee. It costs us $2,100 to put everything together. And then it goes to hourly after that. So when you're looking, find these things out because it's very important. I was just talking with our tax preparer not too long ago, and he was telling us about a young couple he had in, married, had a house, had a child, had a couple of 401s through work, and an estate attorney charged them $9,000 to put a really simple estate plan together. And we just don't need to be paying that much. So understand the fees that are going into things. I guess today they had a really nice leather-bound folder that came with that. So
very nice folder.
They have to be really nice. What is their hourly rate for follow-up? You know, state attorneys are charging anywhere from $200 to $500 an hour. So their rate for follow-up is very important because this can save you a lot of money down the road as well if that's important to you. How do they charge for telephone calls? And this is a good way to delineate where you're saving monies. A lawyer will generally charge you for 6 minutes of their hourly rate or 15 minutes of their hourly rate. So if you called up one that was on a 15-minute cycle, and you talked for 2 minutes, they're going to charge you for 15 minutes of their hourly rate. That's how they bill. If somebody's charging you 6 minutes for that 2-minute call you just made, it's a lot more affordable. And I know Terry and I, whenever we're talking with our attorneys, we really line out our questions. We want to keep it under 6 minutes or 12 minutes, whatever the increment is and how much information you're going to go over. We pull out the stopwatch. We got it running. And we keep them accountable on that too. You know, you're trying to charge us this for that phone call, and no, it only took us this long. We never have that problem with our attorneys because they're all really honest. But that's a good way to really think about that when you get on the phone. You don't start rambling, or if the attorney is telling you, 4 stories about a current situation they're having, you need to cut them off and say, look, we're on the clock here. If you want to tell us stories, that's fine, but take us off the clock. So think about that and ask those questions. How do they bill for follow-up work?
Another thing you want to do is you kind of want to interview them. You want to make sure that they're answering your questions definitively. If you're asking a question and you continually get the answer, well, that depends. That might not be the person that would be working best for you because they're kind of beating around the bush and they're not going to give you a straight answer when really you want to have that straight answer. Another thing to think about is, do they allow for changes in your plan draft? I know that when we were putting together our estate plan, we thought that we had it exactly the way we wanted it. But when the draft came down the pipeline, we looked at some of the verbiage and some of the sections and we said, I don't really think that was the intent that we had when we asked her to put that in like that. So make sure that they're not just doing a cookie cutter plan where they're filling in your names in their estate form. Does it meet your personal needs? We were pretty specific on particular areas in our estate plan. We were very concerned about security. We were also very concerned about the possibility of financial abuse, because if you've read our book, A Legacy Undone, or if you know that we've written that book, we had some serious challenges happen in the lives of our family, and we wanted to make sure that that didn't happen to us as we move through life ourselves. So we had some pretty specific verbiage that we wanted in there. Make sure that they'll do a plan that's really designed to meet your needs.
And our digital assets were really
Yeah,
important
that was a
to
big
us,
important thing too. And speaking of digital assets, a lot of attorneys are still behind the curve on this one. So when you're sitting down in front of them, make sure you ask them what is their verbiage for digital assets. And if they go deer in the headlights, you know that they don't have any. And if they say, well, we'll use the standard verbiage, then you want to see what that is, because there isn't any standard verbiage really out there right now.
Yeah, show me, don't tell me.
Exactly.
If they can't produce a piece of paper that shows that, then you need to think about who you're sitting across from.
And finally, their website. Is it sloppy? You know, sometimes one has to put up a website just because it's got to be part of the business model these days. So make sure when you're looking at their website, is it something that was just slapped on the internet? They used the little budget as they could, because these people can afford to have a professional, well-oiled website.
You're making $300 an hour. You should
You
have a
gotta be able to
website.
afford that. Yeah, you should.
Who are they? Who are they is very important as well as we look through, and we think it's important for you. Do they only do estate planning? We think this is a critical one here. Lawyers can cover a wide range of services. They might be an injury person, and they might be doing this, and they might be do that. You know, we do it all here, and oh gosh, the boomers are getting older. I think I'll do estate planning too. No, estate planning is very specific, and you need somebody that just does that. That's critically important. Do they volunteer in the community? I know when we were interviewing our estate attorney, you know, she volunteers with seniors. She spends her own time with seniors, helping them put their estate plans to order. And we're really trying to turn that around, so we're not waiting till we're seniors to do that. But she's very active in the community on her own time. How long have they been in practice? Another critical one. You know, there's too much at stake here. And everybody's got to start somewhere, but we really feel that for what you're putting together and really writing the last chapter of your legacy, you want somebody that's experienced. They don't need to be making mistakes with you. They need to have already gone through the hard knocks and whatnot. You need somebody that is savvy, that's been in the business a while, and that's really connecting the dots with you. Are they a good fit for everyone? This is really critical as well. And what I mean by good fit is, you know, they're communicating in a way that really jives. And let's just say it's a husband and wife sitting down together and doing this. Do both the husband and the wife really think they're communicating well? They're answering the questions clearly. They're very professional. It's important that you're both on the same page with this as you debrief after an interview, because if one person wasn't feeling good and the other one was, you know, karma is going to come in, and you know, what if the person that felt really good with them, something happened? Now the other person that didn't feel very good is having to work with an estate attorney that they didn't have a good feeling about while they're grieving, while they're trying to put an estate back together. So it's really important that everybody fits and jives together. We loved that about the estate attorney that we picked. Communication, personality, availability, professionalism, some good categories as you're debriefing to say, yeah, this is or this is not the person that we want to really take on a huge part of our life here.
So what are they going to need? Well, let's go back to session 3 and that one folder you have specifically from them. You'll need to gather all of that information. They'll probably have a form that they'll want you to fill out. And you know what? Now that you've done all the homework, you're all ready to go. So you'll just either take it to them, or perhaps you can scan it into a PDF file. That's how we got all our information back and forth with our attorney. And then you'll want to secure that information. And we're going to discuss that in session 6, how to secure your information and the importance of that. So you can still continue with your homework. This concludes today's session. Continue gathering that information. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always contact us at alegacyundone.com. Thank you.